We have assembled our Sunday roundtable. We're joined this morning by Boston Globe columnist Adrienne Walker and Republican political analyst Rob Gray. Great to have you with us, guys. Right off the top, let me start with the issue of mascots and Native American imagery in our culture. There are calls to change the Massachusetts state flag. The NFL team that plays in Washington has dropped its nickname, and we'll have a different one when it finally does play, whenever that is. Should Massachusetts ban the use of Native American mascots in our schools? Adrienne, let me start with you.
I think it's a case-by-case basis. The Washington NFL team, it wasn't just a case of having a Native American name, it's actually a slur. And I think it's going to be decided by what the actual names are in these high schools.
Yeah, Rob, what do you think?
I agree with Adrienne. I think it's going to be a local decision on a case-by-case basis. Statewide, we certainly do have the issue of the state seal. The governor indicated this week he's open to looking at it. But where do you draw the line? That's really the question. And who is the arbiter of where you draw the line?
Next issue, sweeping police reform bill passed in the Senate this week, but it faces a much more uncertain future in the House. Among other things, it bans chokeholds, creates a committee to certify officers, and address the issue of qualified immunity, which protects officers from lawsuits. Rob, is this a go or a no-go in the House?
Well, we have a Senate version now. We have a Charlie Baker version, which is different than the Senate version. And I predict that the House will pass something, but it will be different than both of those. So we'll have three versions. I think the most likely scenario is that it stalls out, does not become law. They can't compromise because police unions are very agitated about this, and it's very complicated politically to get everybody on the same page.
Adrienne, what do you think? Go or no go?
I agree with Rob. I think the House will pass something because so much of what's in this bill is popular and the public wants it. But I think it's going to be very hard to reconcile the differences in the very short time between now and July 31st.
So perhaps the legislative clock runs out, huh? Do you think that?
I think that's where we're headed.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Next item, and Adrienne, I'm going to start with you on this because you wrote a column this week saying that Joe Biden should name his running mate now.
Yes.
You also made a case for Senator Kamala Harris. Why do you think that Biden should make the decision immediately?
I think Biden should get the general election campaign started now. Traditionally you wait for the conventions, but the reality is the conventions aren't going to be conventions as we've known them because of COVID. So I don't think there's any reason to wait for that. And I think it's a chance to rally Democratic support behind his choice. I don't think this endless debate about who to name is necessarily good for his campaign.
And you mentioned Kamala Harris specifically. You think that she should be his running mate. What makes her stand out from any other candidate?
I think she is the person who is most compatible with Biden politically. Warren would be a great choice, but I think they just disagree about too many things. Senator Duckworth is a good choice. There are many good choices, but I think Harris, for lack of a better term, is the person who checks the most boxes.
Rob, what do you think? Is the time now to make the move?
I'd wait if I were Biden because right now Biden is benefiting and his campaign is gaining energy from every Trump misstep, whether it be on COVID or other things. So if I were Biden, I'd wait till August. I coordinate it with the convention, and I just let this sort of run continue where he's gaining in the polls.
It is. Joe Biden has said that he will choose a woman to run with him. Should it be a woman of color?
Yes, I think it should be. I think women of color are such an important, essential piece of the Democratic base. And I think it's an opportunity to make a different kind of history than President Obama made, and he should seize it.
Rob, what do you think?
I mean, Harris could be the pick. She's vetted because she ran for president already. I think it would certainly benefit Biden to have a woman of color. But it could also be somebody like Jeanne Shaheen. I mean, you really don't know how these things are going to play. He could pick Harris, and she could be criticized because she comes out of law enforcement, and some of the real left-wing anti-police elements of the Democratic Party could walk away from Biden. It's really, really tough to play it out.
Let's talk about the state of Maine. In Maine last week, the finalists were chosen for the race for U.S. Senate. It is seen as a bellwether race. The Republican incumbent Susan Collins is seen as vulnerable against Sarah Gideon, the Speaker of the House in the Maine legislature. Can Collins survive this challenge, Rob?
This race is going to be decided by razor-thin margins either way. I believe that Susan Collins has the edge. Maine has an independent streak in electing its U.S. senators. We have Angus King, who is an independent, Olympia Snowe, a Republican who bucked the party, like Susan Collins. But it's going to be a very, very tight race, closely watched, with tens of millions of dollars spent on it.
Adrienne.
I agree with Rob that this is headed to be a two-point race, but I don't think Collins is going to survive this challenge. I think she's really vulnerable.